So the first thing that we have to do is actually make the adjustments for our routing. We need to place the fence at a point where it is exactly where we want for the roof to be made. We want the height of our bit to be precisely how much we want. Remember, this is a 16 mm. This is a 16 mm stock that we have. Now, which means that if we take off half of it, that is about 8 mm. So the bit height has to be 8 mm. And for that, we will have to do a little bit of adjustment. That's pretty simple. We use our router lift, which can raise or reduce the height of our bit. And we have an 8 mm, precisely 8 mm height adjuster here. We can put it here and see if it is touching, barely touching, but it isn't. It is quite low. Now, this is where it would be. Yeah, it's a little high. We can reduce it. This is perfect. So the bit height is set. Now we need to know how much forward we have to bring our fence. Remember, we don't want to take too much off. We also want to take 8 mm off here, because that would give us a groove which is exactly 8 mm deep and 8 mm wide. Now that, if we make an 8 mm groove on the other side of the stock on our table saw or our cabinet saw, this will fit exactly where it's meant to be, and this will also connect to the edge of the other stock, and that's precisely what is required. For that, we need to have, first we need to know where our fence lines up, and the way you can check is by taking a square, putting it next to your fence till it touches your bit. Now remember, here it's too much. I need to bring it forward. At this point, it is barely touching, but it is still touching. So I need to move it a little further. So probably here. Yeah. Now a little back. Now it is touching, but it is. So this is the point where we would ideally want to be. Yeah, there we go. Now here, I know that now if I move my stock along this path, it's going to miss the bit. Now remember, we need 8 mm. So which means that from this point, and here is a scale on both the sides of the lift, I have to calculate 8. So I need to take it 8 back. Now this is 1. Oh, here we go. It's a little too stubborn. This is not the one. I need to first know where exactly I am at 0. So let's do this again one more time. I am not 0 because this thing is not. Yeah, here I am in 0. Remember this. Remember this. Okay. What about it now? Yeah, this is 0. so this is my 0 now. So now I know that from on the scale, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 2.4 centimeter is my 0, which means I'll have to move it 8 mm back from here. 8 millimeters. 2.4 centimeter plus 8 is 3.2. So I have to go to 3.2. So this is 1, 2, 3, and my 2 is here. 1, 2, 3, and my 2 is here. In other words, at this particular point, I should be cutting a groove of 8 mm if I tighten it. Okay. Before you do your stock, you should always do a trial run. Let's use this piece. You can use a trial run. Okay, my router table has a hose connected with a 3 horsepower exhaust, which I've connected to it, and I have a connector which converts the 4 mm to the 4 inches to the width of the mouth of the exhaust that I have over here. So I'm going to switch this on, because remember, this thing makes a lot of chips and a lot of dust. I've just noticed something. This is the reason why we run a test run. And I did, so this is not the correct cut, and the reason is it's going sideways, which means that either my fence is not correctly put in, it's skewed, or it's my slider. Most likely it is this, because we just did this, and this is exactly at 3.2 centimeter. So this might not be the reason, but clearly my fence is not at 90 degrees to this fence. So we have to do a check. And that's the problem. We have a big gap, which means I need to adjust this. Okay, here we go. We need this. Okay, so now if I tighten it, and we are at a 90 degree between the two fences, and if I want to do a new stock, okay, this is 1, 2, 3. Let's just try this one. Yeah, this is 90 degrees. So now we can run it again and see. Still not ideal. I could see that that my fence was moving a little, and I think it might have a bit of a play at this point. Also, yeah, there we go, we have a play. Or maybe it is the stock which wasn't exactly 90. Oh, it is 90. So this is not at 40, which means that this fence is still not accurate. And again, it is really important in woodworking that your fences are really of good. See, if when I'm tightening it, it's pulling back. And that's where the flaw is. Yeah. It seems better. Let's make it tight. Let's make sure it doesn't move. Better, much better. Okay, now let's do it. And the last time I did, there was a lot of dust because I forgot to put on the this, as far as I'm concerned, was a perfect cut, and the reason is, we'll check it, but I could tell that my angle is exactly at 90 from both the sides, the groove as well as the, both the ends of the grooves, and it is precisely at 8 millimeter deep, which I was looking for. So that if I run, but one thing I also need to check is the depth, sorry. And the depth is precisely 8 centimeter as well, 8 millimeter as well. What that means is that now our fence and our fences and our router table is ready to make the run. So we can now push all the stock and get it done in a single setup. So here's our stock. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And we're just going to run it through. as you can see, our stock is ready. This is the front and end bit of the drawer. What we now need is the sides, and the sides will have to have, as I said, the groove in the middle. And the reason for that is so that this section will go inside, slide in, and what that will give is give it a two-way support, one from this side and one from this side. And that will obviously happen on the that is obviously what's going to happen on my cabinet saw. We will need to cut in the middle right here.